In part B of problem 8 from chapter 14, we are asked to look at the maintain a base of 10 employees, hiring and laying off as needed to avoid any overtime. So we don't get to use overtime, but we can't go below 10 employees. So we've got a baseline here that we can't go below, but if we need more capacity, we hire and fire people as needed. So I've got the same numbers here for the months and their demand, and the equivalent time that works out to based on the customer demand and the minutes of labor required for each customer. So let us begin by making note of the fact that we have 10 workers. We know that 10 workers each work 80 hours a month. So 10 workers times 800, we start with a workforce of 800 hours worth of capacity per month. I'm sorry, write it right, Ellis. 10 workers, 800 hours of capacity. Now, as long as the capacity is larger than the time required, we don't need to hire anybody. And since we're not going to fire anybody below 10, we're good for the first month of January. Looks like the same holds true for February and March. But here in April, I need 845 hours of work. So since one employee can do 80 hours of work, looks like I'm going to have to add one worker. So we'll go up to 11, which will give me 880 hours worth of capacity, which meant I had one hire. Now in this month I got to go back down because it looks like the 800 base where we have 10 employees is sufficient. So I'm going to lay off the poor guy the month after I hire him and go back to 10 employees with a capacity of 800 hours. Alright, we go into the month of June. I need 910, and I can only do that by adding 2 additional workers. So call the guy back and tell him he's back on the job. We go up to 12, and to bring his buddy. So 12 would take us up to 960 hours of capacity, and we would have hired 2 people. The next month we're at 1040. We have to go from 960 to 1040. Looks like that's the addition of 1 worker. So we're going to go up to 13 workers, and that would take us to exactly 1040. So we've hired 1. Now we need to drop back down to 910. So 1040 minus 910 is 130, so that's 2 workers. So we're going to drop down in August. Let's see, if I drop down, no, I need to drop down to 12 again, because that's what we had in June for 910. So I'm going to let 1 person go, which takes me back to 910. Actually, it takes me back to 960, which is more than what I need. So by letting 1 person go, I have 1 layoff. In September, I can let 1 more person go. So I'll go down to 11, which will drop down my capacity to 880. Another layoff. And in all the remaining months, I can drop back down to my base of 10 and leave my capacity at 800. And it looks like I've got 1 more layoff I forgot to put in there, which was in this month, going from 11 to 10. So all told, it would appear that if I sum this column, that's the number of hires, 4, and copy the formula over, and that's the number of fires. 4 hires, 4 fires. So my total costs associated with this plan are going to be, let's see, I have to calculate the total number of employee months that I have, which is going to be this number right here. Let's auto sum it. I have 129. Check that, hang on a second. Correct, 129 employee months, and each one of those costs me how much? $400 per month for regular time. Okay, so my regular time costs are going to be equal to this number times 400. My hiring costs are going to be equal to this number times, what was the hiring cost? Regular time, hiring and training costs are $250, so that would be $250 or $1,000. And the layoff costs are $50, so that's equal to the number of layoffs, which was 4 times 50. Total cost for this plan, $52,800, which is cheaper than the level strategy which we showed you in part A, which was $54,700. So we saved a couple $1,000 with this modified chase strategy with a base workforce of 10. In the next video I'm going to show you a pure chase strategy, and we'll compare it to these other two.